So my name is Jesse Pasquan. I'm one of many amazing volunteer support coordinators at School on Wheels. I particularly work with the volunteers in the downtown Los Angeles, Hollywood, Echo Park, Highland Park, Pasadena, and Altadena areas. So I'm the face that you see before you get matched with a student, and I'm the face that's with you throughout the whole process of your volunteering if you're in those areas with us.
Awesome. So Jesse, can you tell us maybe how long you've been with School on Wheels and what your background is? Like, how did you end up with us?
Totally. So, oh gosh, I think I just celebrated my 1 year anniversary at School on Wheels a couple months ago. But
Happy
before
anniversary. We say
yay,
tutorversary, so should I say happy coordinatorversary?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, thank you. I'll take my present in the mail. It's fine.
Oh, and I didn't introduce myself. This is like the classic marketing person. I'm Martha. I do marketing and partnerships at School on Wheels. So my job is to highlight all the great work that our volunteers and our staff do. So sorry,
Right.
just gonna put that
So,
in there because I never remember to introduce myself.
any branding or school bus you've ever seen has gone through Martha first.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, before I actually started at School on Wheels over a year ago, I was pretty new to California. Previously, I lived in Washington State, and I did a lot of work in social service for like suicide prevention, mental health awareness. I was working quite a bit at a LGBTQ community center. And when I moved here, I really just wanted to get a feel for a new social service and kind of explore the different areas that social workers like myself are exploring. And that's how I found School on Wheels and got to know the mission a little better. And I had previously never worked very closely with those experiencing homelessness. So I thought it would be a good challenge for myself as well as a good time for me to pursue a really good cause.
Just readjusting slightly. Thank you, Jesse. I had to quickly move from one room to another for better internet. So
yes, the sacrifices we make.
Yeah, this is, we're really excited for you guys to see. And we ended again on Facebook. So we're still here on Instagram. I'm going to reconnect really quickly on Facebook.
Bye, Facebook. Oh.
We're having some technical issues with Facebook. So we're doing our best, but this might
That no one ever.
This might become just an Instagram live experience in the future.
I mean, does this headband really look like it's Facebook? This is mostly Instagram headband, so.
Yeah. So we apologize to our Facebook peeps. We might end up doing YouTube and Instagram. We'll try that maybe next week. Because I think our internet's pretty strong. So
yes.
we're doing.
Well, I just want to do a little Insta shout out. I just saw Lizette was on here, who is a previous School on Wheels employee, also the person that trained me to be the coordinator that I am today. So shout out Lizette, thank you.
Oh, what if we had special guests and I just randomly was like, hey Lizette, you want to be on camera?
Yeah.
And she'd be like, heck no. I don't think she would like that very much.
Hi Rhiannon, so Carlos, I said hi.
All right, so I restarted on Facebook. We're just gonna keep rolling with these technical difficulties.
Wonderful.
Go with it. Hey Facebook, welcome back. Sorry about the technical issues, but we might end up doing YouTube and Instagram next time instead of Facebook. We're just gonna keep rolling with it. Part of it is that Facebook doesn't have built-in interview capabilities, so we're trying to run it through Zoom. So I don't know if anyone
trailblazing here. We're trailblazing. We're trailblazing here.
We're doing our best. We really, really are. Cool. So, okay. So Jesse, one thing I wanted to ask you is that as a coordinator, maybe you can tell us a little bit like what your favorite thing is you do on the job, and a little bit like what a day in the life before, we had this pandemic, what a day in the life was like, and what a day in the life is like a little bit now.
Yeah, so prior to this, day in the life of a coordinator, we do a lot of work on recruiting various volunteers. We're really with you every step, really with the volunteers kind of every step of the way. So I'm helping with phone interviews, so I'm meeting you before you're even a volunteer. I'm also in my role working with you directly and our list of students who need tutors. So I'm kind of comparing schedules and seeing what works best for both the tutor and the student. And really, I'm just like your 1-800 hotline coordinator to help you out with seriously any problem you run into in tutoring. Martha, I'm going to put
Yeah.
you on the spot because Martha is actually a tutor
I am one of
in my
Jesse's
region.
tutors. It's true.
And if you ever hear me joke about the student that jumped out the window, that's actually Martha's student. So in situations like that, I can do my best to help you out with kids who are jumping out of windows, or on the simpler side, how to find a second grade math worksheet. So
Yeah.
I really enjoy getting to go to the first sessions and introduce tutors to the students.
Mhm.
But now that's going to look a little bit different. Like you said, our day to day
Mhm.
is changing. And so I would say our new normal is going to be similar along the lines of I am here for you 100% of the time.
Yeah,
um,
you're
but
really here, right
it's
there.
gonna look a little bit more like this. So if
Yeah.
you've ever wanted to see this face on a screen in your living room, now is the time to do online tutoring because I will be here to help.
Well, and people can reach you, like your tutors can text you, they can call
Oh
you,
gosh.
they can video chat you. Like,
Yes, I've got a whole separate work phone just to
yeah,
text you with. So
yeah.
anybody can text, call. I'm getting pretty comfortable with Google Hangouts, Zoom, Big
Hmm.
Blue Button,
Yeah.
WhatsApp, FaceTime, any video platform, you name it.
Have you done any, I know some of our other coordinators have done like sort of shared video sessions with the tutor and the parent and student and them, like a group hangout. Have you done that yet or?
You know, I haven't gotten the opportunity, but this is a
Yeah.
good time to kind of share maybe a struggle that some of the coordinators are coming up against. So for the area that I oversee, we had a lot of our shelters have computer labs, which is great because it's just this one room,
Mm-hmm.
anywhere from 1 to 5 computers that the families can use. But the news that surfaced this week with families and shelters starting to abide by the safer at shelter laws
Mm-hmm.
are now closing a lot of the computer labs because it's
Mm-hmm.
a community space for our families. So while I wanted to get a bunch of tutors trained this week, I had quite a few computer labs shut down, which then halted all the progress we made on starting online tutoring. So
Are they
we're
allowed in the computer labs like one at a time at all, or is it completely shut down?
No, it's shut down now because of the staff that's required to be in the room
Mm.
at all times with the student and having a parent, and then that's like I think one too many persons.
Do
Uh,
do any of the shelters you work with have wireless, and do the families have laptops so they can work, in their enclosed space at all?
Yeah, site by site. So we have some families do have access to like a personal hotspot on their phone,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just enough internet that would be needed to connect with the device for online tutoring. I actually worked with our executive director Charles to get laptops sent to a shelter yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a phone call from my student that I personally tutor
Mm-hmm.
because she was so excited that she got a Chromebook and that we could finally start tutoring remotely. So that'll be probably the first site that we get things set up. Sorry that it's my site. That wasn't on purpose. Any sort of
It's just
nepotism.
a crazy coincidence, right? That
Yes,
it's the
yes,
site where your student's at.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I know just from talking to our program staff that, internet access is a huge issue for our students right now. And I think one thing I've been thinking about a lot is that it's always been an issue. This isn't a new
Right,
thing. It's just that, the light is being shined really brightly on it right now, but we've been trying for years to get internet access for our students.
right.
So, one thing I'm personally hopeful about is that this moment in time actually pushes a lot of these things that we've been talking about for years at School on Wheels, like laptops for
Absolutely,
kids, internet for kids, like that they need the same
absolutely.
things that their peers have.
And that transition would be much easier if there was no pandemic going on. I'm
Yeah.
just going to say that now.
Yeah.
So my thoughts along that now for the transition is we're also competing against other resources
Yeah.
like food and hygiene and cleaning products,
Yeah.
which is more of a necessity right now. So that's why things can take a little bit
Yeah.
of time too for coordinating.
Well, and I think it's good to point that out. I mean, we have on our website a page that's specifically for the bare necessities. So, I always think of it as like a hierarchy of like
Mm-hmm.
shelter, food, hygiene, and then, not on the list, but below that is like access to the internet, which, we kind of think
Yes.
many of us think of as a basic utility. Like we can't imagine being in quarantine without some access to the internet. Obviously, it comes below the basic needs. And I know we're trying to work with partners where shelters reach out to us and say they're running out of hygiene supplies or say they're having issues with food. We're trying to match them with partners that that's their specialty. So I know that's something we've been actively doing, is just really trying to refer out folks and making those connections. But we know that, you know, even though it's not at the top of the list, the digital access is going to become more
Right.
and more of a challenge. I mean, I don't know if you've had any tutors and students do this, but I know some of the other coordinators have been, you know, doing just phone calls with their
Yeah.
students or video chats, even if they're not necessarily, you know, doing a full-on screen share or a tutoring session. So maybe you can
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about what that's looking like.
Yeah, we're starting things super slow and
Mhm.
super easy. So by no means do we want tutors to like jump onto a new computer program and start with a really difficult math worksheet. That's just not gonna, it's not gonna create a really long lasting rapport between the student and the tutor online. So, you know, I have tutors that are just starting with a simple phone call just to check in and see how their students are doing. I have some tutors that did start on FaceTime and didn't even start by doing homework. It was just a check-in FaceTime to see how they were doing. The student can like hold up maybe some of the paper homework that they got from school. This is a really good time to just show that you're there for your student, and that'll create like a smoother transition over when we're doing online tutoring.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I would just echo that. Like, I know with my student, you know, they're just dealing with so much that I just even text them once a week and I just say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm here whenever you're ready. Like,
Yeah,
you know, because I know that that's just there. Everybody's dealing with a lot. So even just like a once a week, like, hey, I'm here for you, can go a long
yeah,
even
absolutely.
if my little window climber is not ready for more tutoring or conversation yet. You know,
They will be soon, I'm sure.
yeah,
You know,
for sure.
housing situation aside, I think kids are getting the feel of being cooped up
Yeah,
and want to do something. So,
yeah.
yeah, I think our kids will really benefit from those check-ins.
Can you give us a fun recommendation for something that maybe a kid stuck at a shelter and their tutor can do together over video chat? Like
Yeah.
fun stuff?
Ooh. I can think of a couple things.
Yeah.
My first go-to is some of the online tutoring platforms that we're using, specifically Zoom as well as Big Blue Button. They have what we call a whiteboard feature. And so while you're using that platform, you can pull up a whiteboard and you can draw things on the screen. You might have seen this in our Instagram post earlier today. They were doing math problems, but we can also make that fun, like Pictionary. Like you could draw a picture of an animal and the student has to try and guess which animal it is, or vice versa. The benefit of that is that it gets the students engaged with the platform so they can learn the different features and the skills, but it's still fun, you know? So once we get to tutoring or math problems, the students are already a little more comfortable with using the software and such. But we also have video sharing features on these as well. So I think this is a good opportunity to, you know, maybe find some similar interests that you have with your student and look for fun YouTube videos to start the session off with that you can watch together. Or um, you know, I had my student in particular thought that Britney Spears was a really, really old artist. So, you know, maybe I'll bring some Britney into our session. We'll do some social education too. Uh,
Ah, yeah, Brittany is definitely part of our pop culture history. They got to be teaching her in colleges by now, right?
right, right.
I
Um,
believe there's a course called Brittany versus Christina. They teach
it
it
would
in
be perfect.
undergrad.
It would be perfect.
Yeah.
101. Yes.
I mean, I took a Bob Dylan course. That's comparable, right?
Oh, yes. Nice. Nice. Martha,
Uh,
I do see a question on the
yeah, I
screen
do
about
too.
can new volunteers sign up?
Do you
And
want me to speak to that? Because I keep getting this question.
yes, I think that would be good.
Yeah, so I've gotten this question a lot over the past couple weeks from people on social media and emails. And what we're telling people is we want to be as transparent as possible. And you're welcome to fill out the initial application. We have not closed the application, but there's definitely going to be delays in you getting placed with a student and also in you getting trained, because we have over 1,000 volunteers that we're actively tutoring prior to the pandemic. So our priority as an organization is to get all of those volunteers trained up in online tutoring as quickly as possible so that they can continue to support their students. Now, that being said, with the situation, we actually overall may increase our need for new volunteers. So yes, go ahead and fill out the application, do the online orientation, which are basically the first two steps that you can do. Give us your references and we can do a reference check, but we can't move you beyond that until we get our current volunteers trained up. And I can't tell you how long that's going to be. Like, none of us have answers for a lot of this stuff, but
each week is a new challenge.
yeah, I definitely encourage you, if you're interested in tutoring, please go ahead and start the process. Just realize there's no real timeline for when we might be able to connect you with the student just yet. So hopefully that answers your question. Yes, it does. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, I think right now, we're all just trying to be as, kind to each other as possible. And that includes, realizing that the comforts that we have, our students don't have, and they're in a very vulnerable position right now. So like I, mentioned earlier, we're trying to connect them with those basic essential needs, but we're also trying to prepare our tutors for when the students are ready to start doing those sessions again. And we don't know exactly, that's going to be different for every student. So we're kind of in a train but wait, be kind, go slow.
Yeah, and just to echo that, I think that, you kind of summed up what would really be the biggest piece of advice for tutors or for anybody who's trying to volunteer within a social service right now, is that patience, like taking things slow and easy and just having patience in the process is going to be key to success, because on our end, things are changing on the weekly, and for our families, it's changing potentially on the daily. So the slower you can go and the more ease you have when we start tutoring or getting new volunteers placed, the better.
Yes. Thank you for reinforcing that. I think it's just something that we're all practicing in every aspect of our life right now.
Even after 5 p.m.
Yeah. So just to kind of bounce back to you, Jesse, because I called this Getting to Know Jesse Pasquan. So we got to learn a little bit more about you as a person. I'm going to ask you a few fun questions to wrap this up.
Okay.
What was your very first job?
Oh, okay. My very first job, I'll give the official title, which was sandwich artist at Subway. I was a classic sandwich maker for about a year. And then I think
everyone should give Jesse, if you guys don't know how to send little hearts up, you guys should send little hearts up for Jesse's sandwich artistry skills.
Anytime you need a sandwich, I'm actually trained, fully qualified. Yes, so
all right, cool.
I very much enjoyed that job.
Yeah, I love a good sandwich. So, what is a weird talent that you have?
Oh, okay. So I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but they say.
Are you gonna sing? Wait, please sing.
Well, no. They say that it's impossible, but I can lick my elbow.
Okay. Are you gonna do it for us?
Yes.
Okay.
Should you want to try first? Show how it's impossible.
I'll show everybody how hard it is. Oh, wait, I have my School and Wheel shirt on. I'm ready. Okay. That's it. That's all I'm trying.
You ready for this? Ready? Here we go.
That's all we get. Ooh, yay! Weird talent. Next time I have you on, Jesse's told me, and I'm totally spilling the beans here, that he has a lot of like good parody School on Wheels theme songs. So next time we're gonna do a sing along. But we'll save that. So that's a teaser.
We'll get the words bouncing on the screen so that everyone
we're gonna get really high
home.
tech. It's gonna be like karaoke or something.
It'll be great.
So I always think about what I was like as a student, and I try to empathize that every student has different styles. But what were you like as a student, Jesse?
So when I saw that my mom actually joined this Instagram, so she may contradict anything that I say at any point, just FYI. But I was your typical social butterfly. I think more often than not, my report card said, would be the best student if he didn't talk all class. And that was pretty typical. Now, flash forward to my sophomore year in high school, I homeschooled. So if my mom at some point wants to comment about how she failed me in art class, my own mother, maybe I can address that later. But that sounds more like a therapy session. So I don't want to.
Yeah. Do you find like, are you more, they always say like, are you more of a doer, like a visual learner, or do you learn by doing? Because I know different people have different learning styles.
Yes, I definitely learn by doing.
Yeah.
I have to jump in there, try and do it with my
Yeah.
hands, usually hopefully make improvements.
Yeah.
But just sitting and watching, nah, I can't do that for very long.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So, for the last question, just before we all go back to most of us working from home or going stir crazy in our houses, what is your favorite thing about working from home and your least favorite thing?
Oh gosh. You know, I think my least favorite thing is the distractions.
Mhm,
You would think that you would want to avoid a dirty dish as long as possible, but
mhm,
you see that you have a list of unread emails, and those two dishes at the sink are like, no, those need to be cleaned right away. Like
yeah.
I'm gonna go do that. So I get easily distracted.
Mm.
But my favorite distraction, which is my favorite thing about working from home, is that I'm with my dog all the time. So
Oh.
I can have my
Yeah.
dog on
But do
my
your dogs,
lap. I can
because my
bring him up on the
cats will sit
screen.
on top of my computer. Does the dog sit on top of the computer? Because I think that's a cat thing.
My dog, my dog fails to recognize laptops or phones even exist. I think he's like afraid of them. So the closer
Mm,
I bring, the more he's just kind of like,
mm,
yeah. So
I see.
he's pretty good about it.
Yeah, it's so funny you say distractions because I have the opposite problem. Like I find the office, when I was in the office, I would find it really distracting. Like all the sort of like
Hmm.
different people walking by me and background conversations.
Oh yeah.
But when I'm at home, my problem is I forget to take breaks. And so I literally have like a little like plug-in that I run on my computer that's like, hey, take a 15-second break. Take a 5-minute break. And
Just
like a lot of
breathe.
times I'll be like, ignore. And I'm like, then it'll finally pop up and be like, is what you're doing more important than your health? And I'll be like,
I need to send me that. That's great.
yeah. And I'll be like, no, I should probably get up and stop staring at my screen.
Just for a hot second.
Yeah, so my computer like guilt trips me into taking breaks. So
That's great. That's great. Now
yeah.
now we'll do it. We need to set it up so it's just a little picture of me that pops up in the corner of your screen with like unicorn ears. Just Martha, take a break.
Yeah, is anybody, if there's any developers out there that want to build a Jesse specific ergonomic reminder app, like
Yes.
that's a really specific request.
In addition to a full Jesse emoji set would be great. Would be
Yeah,
great.
yeah. We can figure out a way to make it School on Wheels branded. We'll put them on top
Yeah.
of a bussy.
Yeah.
And it'll generate, if people can buy it, all the proceeds could go to School on Wheels. I feel
Yes.
like,
Put me on Bussy. Do
yeah,
it.
we'll figure it out. All right, well, thank you, Jesse, so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I'll
Yes,
let
this is
you
great.
get back to that long list of emails that I know
Oh
you're so
gosh,
excited
I
about.
got 2 dishes I need to go to.
All right, and thank you everybody for watching on Instagram. Unfortunately, our Facebook kept going out, so apologies to Facebook. We'll apologize to them later. And yeah, we'll be back next week. I believe, oh, let me check the calendar. We're either talking to Alex or Katie next week. I'll
I
post it
think
on
it's
Instagram.
Alex.
Is it
Yeah,
Alex? Okay.
I think it's
We'll be
Alex.
talking to our West Side coordinator, Alex, next week. Should be a treat. All right,
Yay.
I'm gonna end this live, baby.
Bye.
Bye.